for joining us right now. The handles that you can use to communicate with us on the social media platforms is at TV47KE across all of them. That's on Twitter, Facebook, and on Instagram. Or you might as well send me a direct tweet on my handle at @comowino with the hashtag the Dayscounter. Now we're in the second bit of this segment where we usually have a guest in studio to discuss different matters, and today we're discussing matters technology, and joining me is a certain Diangui Kinyagia. I hope I got that right. It's Diangui Kinyagia. He is the managing director of ARI Limited. He has vast experience in the business sector and is also into tech solutions and tech innovations. Mr. Diangui, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, just to start us off, why don't you tell us something little about ARI Limited? Because from my understanding, this is a tech company, and we've had similar companies in the past, and we also have the ones that are currently existing. Why don't you tell us something, just a little history about your company and what drove you into getting into this space?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. So, ARI Limited is a software company, a technology company, and what we do is drive efficiency for companies using technology. So if you want to automate processes, make work easier, and ensure that the company is running efficiently, we come in and use technology, different technologies, which is web-based, online, SMS, USSD, just to ensure that you can focus on what you do on a day-to-day basis, and the technology is handled by us. Right. So we started back in 2012 as a small company dealing with mobile applications, and we've managed to grow to deal with corporates, NGOs, large companies, and ensure that we're driving efficiency for them.
All right. Yeah. Now, as a new business, back then when you're coming into the market, you definitely have a target market and different products that have certain ages vis-a-vis the other ones that have been on the market. As ARI Limited, what are some of your key products and your biggest selling points as a company?
Well, the biggest selling point as ARI Limited is that we ensure that whatever we do, it drives efficiency for the organization. And we do that using one of our best products is called PitStop. PitStop is payment integration and tracking, whereby we come in and help our organizations track revenue that is coming into the business, and as it also goes out, if they're paying for commodities and stuff, and when they are paid in. So what PitStop does is that it ensures that the revenue that you collect reflects near real time into your ERP or financial solution. So you find companies will be collecting money or paying money, then you have to do a lot of data entry as the finance and accounts team, and just to reconcile your statements and know your true position as a company. So when you come in, all that we automate, and whatever is transacted from your accounts, from your M-Pesa, from your payment channels, it reflects directly in your ERP or whatever back-end accounting system you're using. So that makes it very easy and very efficient to run your organization.
Okay. Yeah. Now, one thing that somebody can come across when he or she is going through your profile is that you've contributed to different articles. You also are a writer in some sense. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Yeah, so you've contributed to different articles on business, IT software, and two things caught my eye while I was going through the whole thing. And one thing that you talked about was a certain thing known as software as a service. I have some little background knowledge in IT, so software as a service. And when you go in that article, you're very consistent in mentioning that businesses should now start adopting this type of model. Maybe if you just explain it in a layman's language, trickle it down to what software as a service is to the viewers.
Very good. Yeah. So when we were coming into the business back in 2012 used to have what are known as legacy system. Right. Legacy system is a big system that you buy off the shelf. It's deployed on your premises, and it takes a lot of manpower, capacity, and effort just to ensure that it's running. Right. So companies have been forced to move from that channel because, for example, if you are a small company or a company that is starting to do even production like this one, you don't have time and money and resources to focus on the technology. So what software as a service does is that a company like ours builds a complete solution. Then it says, as TV47, you can use this product and pay us a little amount per month, per quarter, or per year. And the more people they get, they're able to offset what they used to, to build that particular solution. So it's cheaper for the company, and it's better for the company because they focus on their core business, and they have this technology firm or company that is running the tech bit of it, and so it and they pay little money, or in bits. So at the end of the day, both it's a win-win situation. So that it's called software as a service. You don't own the software. A third party owns the software, but you're using it as yours, and you get full benefits as if it were yours.
Okay. Yep. Now, in your line of work, in your business and in the IT sector, has this idea been adopted by companies, or do you still view it as something that has not been fully accepted by the people?
That's a very good question. So most companies, big, large, and small companies, are adopting software as a service as a big rate. Right. So it is no longer an enigma or something that people don't know about. Right. Most banks, most of their back office operations are software as a service. Most companies like us, if we are to deploy a solution for you, we will go and buy the servers, the database, and so on, software as a service. So pay progressively and extend that service to you. So if a company has not adopted software as a service in one area of their businesses, they are definitely losing out, because they are paying so much money as opposed to leveraging on existing technologies that people have built, and manage for them. Yeah.
Right. Now, just before we move away from the issue of the software and the different models that need to be adopted, just the other day, and generally when I'm always speaking with different people, is that when you get down to really understand different people, you get that they don't understand certain terms in IT. And in that piece of article, you talk about businesses actually adopting their platforms on a cloud kind of network. I'm sure there's somebody out there who doesn't necessarily understand what adopting your business model to a cloud platform really means. Could you explain that to them?
Good. Yeah. So basically, what a cloud setup is basically an online setup. Okay. Yeah. For example, if you look at a solution like Facebook, Google, Amazon, all of them are hosted on servers or in places, that are not within
the physical
location. Yeah. So when you host when you put your software in a different location, and it's not where you are, and you access it through the internet, that is what is known as a cloud service. Cloud service. So it's not a literal cloud somewhere with data sitting there.
As somebody might think. But generally, would somebody not say that it's not a safer option because somebody else somewhere is handling your software on the other hand? Would you rather not have it? I know it's bulky, but would you rather not have it within your premises and control it?
Well, for example, in this particular market, it would be dangerous to have your servers and all your infrastructure in-house. For example, lights go off on and on, or something might happen, a breakage, and so on. So just on the physical part, it wouldn't be wise to have all your infrastructure in-house. Then it's very expensive and bulky, like you've mentioned, to have all that done by yourself. And remember, businesses come into focus on a very specific thing. Like for you guys, you do production and so on. So all that other business, it takes you away from your business. So it's so for experience, it's easier to have it somewhere else, have somebody else doing it, like business process outsourcing. Companies no longer have call centers and so on. They've given that work to somebody else.
And this is where ARRI comes in.
Yes. So you give all that work to somebody else, and they handle it. That's their core business. That's what they are perfect at. And you can concentrate on other things.
Now, just to finish up on the stories that I was going through on your profile, there's something that caught my eye. I didn't understand it, so maybe it was on social entrepreneurship, which I believe is something to do with responsible kind of business, so to say. Now, in a statement, you said, people shall continue doing zero businesses in Kenya, whether we like it or not. Your business must be ready for the next big international or the next big thing, money laundering scheme. What did that mean?
That's a very good question. So the biggest thing happening in Kenya currently is that the NGO world is, let me say, it's not dying, but it's going down. And what has come up are what are known as social enterprises or social ventures. So social venture is a business with the aim of having an impact to a certain community. But you find that in Kenya, we are getting so much money from venture capitalists, from financials from different countries, and they are coming into the country and funding businesses that have an impact or should have an impact to the communities that they are serving. However, the situation on the ground, literally, if you went and looked at all those social ventures that are getting funding to the tune of millions of dollars, there is no impact. You can't say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4 people have benefited from this particular enterprise. You find a company has been given $1 million to spend in Kenya, and they say we are going to help some people with some electrification or something. We're going to use this technology to do this. From my observation, I found that so many people are being funded to, in my opinion, it's some sort of money laundering. Money comes from abroad. It's supposed to do something in this market using technology, using some other new way, but then that money is channeled to an individual or individuals, and eventually there's no impact. So companies like ours and different companies in Kenya, local companies, cannot benefit from all this financing that is coming from different places, from venture capitalists and so on. That's why I said, if you want to do social venture, you must adapt. You must adapt to the conditions. And chances are they're doing zero business. There's no impact on the ground. Now, just talking of impact, in our country, we've had the Ministry of Information and Technology right from 2004. But just a few years ago, in 2016, it was broken into two for the broadcast telecommunication and for the department that deals with ICT in itself. Now, since that move by the government to split the ministry into two state departments, you've talked of those other ventures not having impact. Has that really had an impact on your business and other businesses that deal in the IT side of business with breaking? Because I mean, breaking something means you're devolving the functions for efficiency. Have you benefited as a business person in the ICT sector once that was done? Wow, government and technology. So the government has done a lot for technology in this particular market, and I've seen it since 2010 all the way from now. And we are some of the fruits that we are enjoying today are because of works by people like Bitang and Demo, and they did a lot of work just to ensure that Kenya becomes the Silicon Savannah of this continent. And so yes, I've benefited from that. However, as much as the ICT sector has become big, nice, and it's very innovative in this particular market, there are always elements in government that try to take advantage of the situation so that they can make money for themselves. So we've seen that. So I'd say 80%, yes, it's a good thing that they've done. I've benefited from, at least as a young person doing business in technology in this country, I have a voice and I can get access to different markets and so on, which is so good. But there are always those elements that try and
Definitely. No, it's good. It's actually a good thing to hear guests say something good about the government. You never come across that easily. Now, you've talked of you benefiting as enthusiast of the ICT field and its work that comes with that particular area. Would you say that the young people who are also interested in that particular field, is it a blame on themselves that they're not able to go out there and source for this type of opportunities from the government, or it's just a one-sided thing from the government, as you've said, 80%, 20%?
So that's a very nice question. So first of all, the government will never give you money. The government's role is to create an environment for us to be able to do business and to ensure that things work. So if you are depending on the government to give you money or to direct you, that will never happen in a million years, in 1,000 years. So what you do is like what you've done. We've seen the opportunities that have been created, the environment that has been created, and we've chosen certain niche sectors that we can go in, plug in, and reap benefits from there. So as a young person, I would personally, my experience is not seeing the government as something that can provide for me, but it's seeing the environment that they've created and taking advantage of that particular environment.
Now, as RE Limited, does your company deal with fiber optic solutions and all that?
No, we don't.
Or you don't partake in that? But considering you have been in the IT field and you have knowledge on this, is that fiber optic has been introduced into our Kenyan space since back then, but we've always had issues. It's not, I can still go to some other places and connectivity is super bad, and they might be having some fiber connection considering with all the programs that the government has run. What do you think is the issue? Why can't we move forward in a solid way with regards to fiber optic connectivity?
That's a very good question. So in terms of access to technology, infrastructure, and the internet, it's the private sector has played an important role of bringing these particular, assets to your doorstep. For example, you have Safaricom with, a huge coverage even in the estates. We have Zuku with another huge coverage and so on. So I think it's important to bring more people on board, more investors to invest in this particular market because the infrastructure is already there.
It's already set up. Yeah.
As far as places like Marsabit, Mandera, and so on. So the more players that would come in and take advantage of this infrastructure, then such issues would at least be toned down, and people would have more access to internet and so on. Yeah. Then the cost of setup is also an issue. For example, you have some companies give internet for 10K per month. Well, for a small business, 10,000 shillings is a lot of money. So the costs are also very high. So you find somebody is not able to afford, that the cost of good internet. So if the cost would come down and more people are allowed to or come into that space, that would ensure that there is more penetration of internet and so on.
Now you're definitely an inspiration to young people out there, considering the strides that you've made in your businesses and so far that you've come. I mean, looking at just your webpage in itself, you have a fair enough good client base, which is, I think, super strong. How does somebody get to connect with these people? Because I know there's some people who might be watching and they have similar companies that deal with whatever you're trying to deal with as well. How are you able to connect with these people? What's the networking process so that they can actually accept you as somebody who can offer these software solutions?
That's a very good question. So for a start, for us, what has worked for us is word of mouth and referrals. So putting your story out there and telling people that, I am Ndiangui, this is what I do, this is my website, this is my page, just go and look at it. So that has worked for us. So initially we relied on that just to get a head start. Then we started doing marketing. Marketing involves putting up adverts either on Facebook, on Twitter, and so on, and paying for them. Then we moved on to PR, doing, sets like this one, being invited to places to speak and so on. Then opening our eyes to opportunities that exist. For example, if a certain, for example, Kenya Association of Manufacturers is having an event, just going there and trying to meet people. Networking is very difficult, especially for technology people. Because we tend to be more of nerds, geeks, and so on. Then meeting people does not come naturally. But overcoming that, that fear and trying to put yourself out there so that people can validate you. Then a good story is also important. If you've done something, have somebody, one of your clients refer you or say, Ndiangui has done this for us, and just put it out there.
Now, definitely, as we wrap up our set, one of the most important beats that somebody would want to know is the challenges that you're facing, what you're facing currently, and what you've gone through. Because I'm always thinking that's an ideal part of every startup organization, and one would want to learn from the experience that you're going through. Maybe just give us one or two key challenges that somebody might expect who wants to go into the similar business as yours.
That's a good question. So I'm just reminded of a challenge that I faced just a couple of months ago. So I went to a bank and I was seeking some form of credit, and so this guy looks at me and he says, "So you want an overdraft facility? We don't offer that in this bank." I'm like, "Really?"
And it's a bank.
It's a bank. I'm like, "I've been with you for the last 7 years. You sure you don't? There's nobody in this bank who has an overdraft facility?" "No, we don't have an overdraft facility." Then he said, "But I know what you can do." So I was keen to listen. You can go talk to your uncle, and your uncle can give you money. I'm like, "What?" No, or better, talk to your auntie and family and friends. Get your stuff in order, then come back. Now remember, this guy has not even bothered to look at my bank statement. Has not bothered. And I'm not always in blazer and all.
Suits and all that. I
just wear a t-shirt, jeans, and I'm going to the bank. It's not 1950 where you wear a suit to go meet the banker. So so that was a real challenge. So access to credit is a challenge. But when there are challenges, there are opportunities. Because if banks can't give us credit, you need to find other ways to come up with, to be innovative in how you make money.
Yeah.
So access to credit or capital is a major challenge to growth and innovation.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Diengui, last words. This is your time to shine. I always call it the parting shot. Give your viewers the parting shot, and most importantly, a place where they can reach you if in any case they need any solutions to whatever troubles they're having.
Thank you very much. Thanks for this opportunity. I'm Diengui Kinyagia from Ari Limited. Remember, you can drive business efficiency using technology. You can find us on our website, which is www.ari.co.ke. Engage with us, and we'd be happy to sort your technology needs. Thank you.
Diengui, thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope this segment was helpful to the viewers who are viewing the segment today. I've been your host for today, Alan Owino, and thank you for joining us. You might as well keep the conversation going on our social media platforms. That's at TV47KE. And as usual, if you want to communicate with me directly, you can send me a direct tweet on my handle at @Comawino. But don't forget, the hashtag is Dayscounter. Until tomorrow with my colleague Lucy Riley, that was all we had in store for you today. Have a good evening.